Quick Dick McDick coming to you from Saskatchewan here. And we do all kinds of things on the Quick Dick channel. And with everything that's happening in the news nowadays, it's time to take a break from that and let's talk about cows. Right, buddy? Should we talk about some cows? Yeah. Welcome to the Bar R Ranch, right here in Saskatchewan, where it is March, which means only one thing. It is calving season. Now, you might go to the store to buy ground beef to make hamburgers or meatloaf with, or you might go to buy some steaks to put on the barbecue, or maybe you buy a brisket to put on the smoker, or maybe you buy a roast to put on the slow cooker. But have you ever stopped and asked yourself, where do they come from? Well, that's what this episode's all about, because all the items that I just listed actually come from cattle. So I'm going to take this episode and I'm going to show you exactly how it is that we raise cattle here in Saskatchewan. And I call this episode, The Life of a Cow. Now, the biggest debate that I've had about getting this episode together is, where do you start the life of a cow? It's like the whole chicken and an egg thing, which came first, right? But I've decided it's calving season right now, and this is when calves are born, but I would say that the start of everything is when a calf is conceived, and that means that we need to rewind to breeding season. Now, the reason we're starting this video at breeding season is because cattle are like crops. You got to plant the seed for it to grow, except with cattle, you don't use a big air drill and a four-wheel drive tractor. To plant the seed, you use bulls. Now, bulls are obviously male cattle, and we turn these guys out at the perfect time of year so that we're going to be calving in March. Now, cows aren't much different than humans. Their gestation period is usually around 283 days, or like 9.5 months. So if we want to calve in March of 2025, then we need to turn the calendar back to June of 2024 to turn the bulls out to make that all work. And conveniently this year, it was on the same day that we were turning the cows out to pasture anyways. So let's take a little time travel back in time to June of 2024. So here's what the girls and their calves look like in June when they're done calving. Now, as you can see, they're on fresh pasture, which we call a holding pasture, right close to the feedlot. Now it's time to turn them out to their summer grazing home on the 1st of June. So we round them all back up and bring them back to the feedlot to the loading facilities. For the groups that are going to community pasture, we'll bring in a ground load, and that hauls them over north of Tufnell, where they're going to spend the summer on a community lease. And for the smaller groups that are going to our own personal spread out pastures throughout the RM of Foam Lake, we'll haul those with a pickup and a trailer. So calves get loaded first in the trailer so that the cows don't step on them. And then, of course, the cows get loaded in behind the calves once we get them separated in the front compartment. Go on, girls. Go on, girls. And then we haul each group of cows out to their specific pasture. Okay, so now the cows and calves are hauled out to pasture. Now we're going to come back to the feedlot and we're going to get the troublemakers, the bulls, and we're going to herd them up to the loading facilities. Load them on the trailer, and then we're going to haul each specific bull or bulls to the specific group of cows that we want them bred to. Because as you can see, we've got some Simmental bulls, we've got some Angus bulls, we've got some Horn Hereford bulls. We want to put them with the proper groups to get the proper calf out of the cow that we're looking for. Okay, you ready, boy? You ready? Go get him. Go get him, boy. there's Leo, hey? That is our bull. Hey, buddy. He is gonna be doing all the breeding out here. That is the guy that is gonna be spitting all these little calves into these cows. Aren't you, buddy? Yeah. Look at that boy. That's a big boy. And you gotta remember, at this time, the cows still have their last calf on them, right? So they got 2 jobs throughout the course of the summer. Job number 1 is they gotta keep milking and raising the calf that they currently have on them. And job number 2 is they need to get pregnant so that they're ready to do it again next year. A cow's job is never done out here. Now, we only leave these boys out for 60 days, okay? They basically got 3 chances or 3 cycles on a cow to get them pregnant. And then we pull them because we don't want calving season to last all year. Now, it's not just over. We don't just go to the lake and play golf and swim and hang out for the summer. We got stuff that we got to get done through the summertime so that we got enough food for these cows for next winter. So while the bulls and cows are out doing what bulls and cows do, which is make calves, we got to make hay. And if you check out the link that just showed up in the corner of the video there, it said, "Hey, let's hay." It shows you exactly how we make hay and why we make hay. And we got to get silage done. So if you check out this next link that I put up here, if you haven't seen it, it's what is silage, and it shows you how we make silage and why we make silage. We got to get that all ready to go here throughout the summer so that everything's got something to eat. But we just leave the bulls there, like I said, for 60 days. And when 60 days is up, we go back at the end of July. We split the bulls off of the cows, load them up in the trailer, and then we haul them back to the bulls-only pasture. Doggy Stu. Oh. Oh boy, you're done for the year. Here goes Craig. Now watch these 2 donkeys start fighting each other. Good job, boys. All right, Leo, you're the last one. Go say hi to the boys. No fighting, you bastards. No fighting. No kissing either, all right? Well, you can hug maybe. Whatever, you can kiss, I don't care. Okay, so let's reevaluate where we're at. The cows are out and have hopefully been bred. The bulls are pulled and in their pasture where they can't touch any cows anymore. We're done haying, we've done silage, we're getting into harvest now. There's one other thing that's really important that we gotta do here is we've gotta make sure that the feedlot's ready for when the cows come back and we start feeding them this winter. Now, how do we get the feedlot ready? Well, it's full of last year's manure. So we windrow all of the manure that's in our feedlot that we've accumulated over the winter. So that's straw, cow poop, and cow pee. And then what we do with it, we get these guys to come in and haul it out. Now, this is just one of the many ways that a cow's life symbiotically works with the existence of our grain farm, for the simple fact that we take the byproduct of cows, which is poop, pee, and used straw, and we just spread it back out onto the land where we're going to harvest crops off of, and it naturally increases the biodiversity in that soil. Okay, so corrals are cleaned. Everything's done. We're basically done harvest, and now it is the time of year where we start rounding up cattle to start stubble grazing their way home. So when we go to take cows out of pasture, there's a few things that happen here now. Thing number 1 is we wean the calves, which means it's time to pull the calves off of their mothers. Because calves are kind of like spoiled teenagers. If you just let them live at home after they graduate and they're old enough to support themselves, they'll just keep staying there. But if you force them away, they'll actually start making their own way in the world. So we kind of do the same thing with the calves. So we separate the calves from the cows, we vaccinate them, and we haul them back to the feedlot. And the cows, well, they get preg-checked. And of course, for that, we're going to call in our highly professional veterinarian, Carolyn. Okay, Carolyn, what is this contraption you're using here?
I don't think you can.
We're not going to use it on me.
No. I will, Is this where you're supposed to tell me I should have stayed in school?
No, I don't. I think I should have stayed in school. What is that thing?
It's an ultrasound.
Ultrasound.
Yeah.
Basically, you're just going inside the cow
Yes,
and
exactly.
seeing if there's a fetus in there,
That's
right?
right, exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
That's pretty much
It's
it.
easier than going up to your shoulder.
That's right. Yeah,
Okay.
a lot easier.
Fair enough. Yeah. So at this point, whatever doesn't have one of these things kicking around inside of them actually gets put into a different pen, and they're going to be culls. Now I'll explain what that is right away. And the rest of them, we herd to their fall/first part of winter pasture a couple of miles away from the community pasture. Now most of the cows are over in this area, over in here, and some of them are up here. Now these ones we're going to trailer back down home, and these ones we're going to stage them through some of these fields and pastures all the way down through here, right back to the home place, to the feedlot for the mid to end of November. So then right before the snow moves in and it turns into full-on winter, we get the last of the groups through the stubble right up to the feedlot. And then we split everything into their appropriate pens. 3 pens here that are our steer pens, all right? So there's 1, 2, 3 over there. And this is where all the boys go now. These boys are neutered, they can't impregnate anything, and they are going straight to the beef market. So these guys are gonna get a lot of feed because we want them to put the pounds on. And here we've got 2 pens of these girls, which are our heifers. Now some of them are gonna get fed and sold, and then some of them we're gonna keep as replacement heifers to bring back into our breeding rotation. So we got 2 pens of them. We'll feed them till January, and then we'll pick the ones that we're gonna keep and pick the ones that we're gonna sell. This group is our heifers. Now these ones are called heifers because they don't have calves on them right now. They've never had a calf, and they're gonna need a little bit of extra attention during calving season, and obviously need a little bit different of nutrition, so we have them in this pen. Now these girls here are gonna be our second calvers. That means they've had their first calf. This is gonna be their second time doing it, so they kind of know what they're up to, but they need just a little bit more supplement in their diet, so we'll feed them a little bit heavier and keep a closer eye on them here up by the barn when they do start calving. This is our cull pen. Now what a cull pen is it's cattle that are either open that didn't get bred this year, or they're physically not in the best shape to bring another calf to term, and so we're gonna cycle them out of the herd, because your job here at a ranch, if you're a cow, is to make babies, and if you can't make babies, then you gotta get off the ranch. And as for the cows, well, they stay just outside of the feedlot, and we feed them in rows on where we're gonna be planting crop again next year, because once again, a little bit of cow poop on the soil never hurts anything. And now that we got everything back home at the feedlot here, we spend the rest of the winter feeding and feeding and feeding. And that brings us right up to the end of February. Now, if you're like number 21 here, you're still a little curious as to what's going on. Well, my friends, that's 15 minutes, and I've brought you almost through an entire year of the life of a cow, but we're getting to the most important and busy part of it right now, which is calving. So stay tuned for part number 2, which is coming out next week, and we're gonna bring us out to the end of the feeder calves and when we ship them off, and then I'm gonna do an entire episode on calving. So thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next week for part 2 of the life of a cow.